The weight of returning. The afternoon light slanted through the alley entrance like accusations made manifest, dust motes suspended in air thick enough to choke on. 3 weeks since I'd stood in this space. 3 weeks since my brother's hands had tried to squeeze the life out of me on these very floors. The ankle monitor under my jeans felt like a shackle forged from consequences and court orders, its weight a constant reminder that survival came with paperwork and probation. Miguel saw me first, his eyes going wide before his face cracked into something between a grin and a sob. Behind the bar, he'd been polishing glasses with the kind of obsessive focus that spoke to anxiety barely contained. The sound system bled Sweet's Fox on the Run through speakers that had been upgraded during the renovation. "Holy fucking shit, Mom's back," he breathed, already reaching for the top shelf. "Della! Della! Get your ass out here!" The bar looked different through trauma-tinted lenses. Every shadow held potential violence. Every corner could hide someone's fists. The pool table where I'd bled felt like sacred ground and a crime scene simultaneously. But the sunset crimson walls caught the light differently now, warm instead of oppressive, and the living plants Della had insisted on scattered throughout the space breathed oxygen into air that suddenly felt thinner than it should. "Don't you fucking start," I managed, my voice still carrying gravel and broken glass even after weeks of healing. "I'm here. That's enough." Ezra materialized from their beanbag chair sanctuary, blue hair freshly dyed to match their healing bruises, now yellowed around the edges of their still splinted nose. They moved carefully, like they were approaching a skittish animal that might bolt. "Mom," they whispered, and the weight of that word carried every horror we'd survived together. "You look like shit." "Feel worse," I wheezed, lowering myself onto a bar stool with the grace of a geriatric patient navigating ice. Every movement sent complaints through bones still knitting themselves back together. Miguel set a tumbler in front of me with ceremony usually reserved for religious sacraments. The liquid inside caught the light like amber honey mixed with iodine. Lafroig, its peat smoke aroma rising like highland bogs and medicinal necessity. 16-year-old Islay Scotch, he said softly. "Tastes like campfires and consequence. Figured you'd earned it." The first sip hit my damaged throat like absolution filtered through charcoal and thyme. Smoke and salt and something indefinably ancient coated my tongue, the finish lingering like prayers half remembered. My eyes watered, from the liquor or the emotion I couldn't distinguish. "Christ, that's good," I croaked. "Better than the morphine?" Miguel asked, his tone playful but his eyes scanning me for signs of imminent collapse. "Different kind of medicine." Della emerged from the kitchen in a cloud of steam and profanity, wooden spoon brandished like a weapon. Behind her, Mary followed with her own measuring cup, both women's faces flushed with the heat of cooking and gentle disagreement. "I'm telling you, the roux needs to be blonde, not brown," Mary was saying, her voice carrying the patient tone of someone who'd taught this lesson before. "Butter, flour, whisk it until it's smooth. Then add your milk gradually." "I know how to make a goddamn roux," Della protested, but there was affection in her growl. "But you're saying the cheese goes in after?" "After the milk thickens." "I know what I'm talking about. Ask Wendy." Mary spotted me then, her expression softening. She raised her wine glass, something red and sensible, in quiet acknowledgement before returning her attention to Della's mac and cheese education. The bar was filling up slowly, people drifting in as word spread that I'd returned. Kira arrived with River and Phoenix, the three of them moving as a unit that spoke to weeks of shared caretaking duty. River still had their nurses' scrubs on, the fabric wrinkled from a double shift that showed in the shadows under their eyes. "You should be resting," River said, their professional assessment already cataloging my pallor, my tremor, the way I held myself like something fragile and explosive. "Rested for 3 weeks. I am completely losing my fucking mind. I'll crawl in here if I have to. Phoenix settled beside River, their ruby ring catching the light as they reached for my hand. Their touch was gentle, reverent even. From the speakers, the Who's Baba O'Reilly kicked in, Pete Townsend and Roger's voices painting devotion in minor keys. The door opened again, bringing a gust of autumn air and nervous energy made flesh. Jian Chen stood in the entrance, her small frame seeming to shrink further under the weight of the bar's attention. She clutched her purse against her chest like armor, her eyes immediately seeking Phoenix. I hope is okay I come, she said, her accent thick with anxiety and broken English that spoke to years of isolation. Phoenix say is okay. Safe place. Jian looks around the room, physical and emotional monitoring, things that a abuse victim does. I think to myself, I know this all too well. Phoenix was up and moving before conscious thought could intervene, their body language shifting from protective of me to protective of her. The complicated dance of trauma and forgiveness played out in the space between mother and child. Mom, Phoenix said carefully, using the title that still caused both of them to flinch. Come sit. Miguel, can we get some tea? Something? Not alcohol? Got a whole fucking selection, Miguel said gently, his bartender instincts reading the room's emotional temperature. Green tea, chamomile, this weird lavender shit Della likes. Shut up, dearest. I like my shit the way I like it, Della bellows. Green tea is good, Jian Chen whispered. The bar collectively shifted, giving them space while maintaining presence. This was the sanctuary's gift. Knowing when to watch and when to turn away, when to speak and when to let silence do its work. Renee pushed through the door with her usual controlled violence, her bodybuilder frame filling the entrance before she scanned the room with military precision. Her eyes found me, softened fractionally, then hardened again as she made her way to the bar. You look like you got hit by a truck, Wendy, she said. No preamble, no soft shit. Good. Means you're healing. How is he? The question scraped its way out of my damaged throat. Confused as fuck. Keeps reading your shit. Asked me yesterday if the mother described in them was real. Renee accepted a beer from Miguel, something dark and local. Told him, yeah, she's real. That answer didn't satisfy him. Truth rarely does. Remy's voice lilted from the corner booth, his Cajun accent thick with something ancient. My maman used to say, La vérité est comme l'huile de serpent. Either it heals or it poisons, depends on the dose. He raised his own glass. Rum, dark as sin and twice as complicated. Your brother, he getting the whole bottle at once, no? Memory's a motherfucker, I agreed, taking another sip of liquid smoke. But amnesia might be worse. Not knowing something when everyone else does is as bad as knowing it and having to remember. Across the bar, Phoenix and Jian Chen sat in painful proximity. The mother's hands shook as she held her tea, her eyes red-rimmed and haunted in ways that made my chest ache with recognition. The papers, Jian Chen said softly, her words careful and halting. The divorce papers. They move forward. Lawyers say is good case. The hospital, they document. The shelter, they document. Judge see the truth. How long? Phoenix asked, their voice tight with hope and dread tangled together. Maybe 6 months. Maybe more. He fight. Say I am crazy. Say I make up stories. Her voice cracked like ice over deep water. But they find the pictures. The medical record. 30 year of... You don't have to say it, Phoenix interrupted gently. We know. We've always known. I should have protected you, Jian Chen whispered, tears finally spilling over. Should have leave when you are baby. Should have is a fucking poison, Della called from the kitchen, her voice carrying over the sizzle of meat and the clatter of dishes. You're leaving now. That's what matters. The kids who get saved at 18 are just as valid as the kids who get saved at 8. River's hand found Phoenix's shoulder, grounding them as they processed their mother's pain alongside their own. The whole bar held its breath, witnessing this fragile reconstruction of family. I have room in a house, Jianchen continued, her voice gaining strength. Small, very small, fixed income. The shelter finds someone willing to put me up, but is mine. First time. First time since I marry is mine. That's beautiful, Mom, Phoenix said, testing the word, weighing it against decades of complicated resentment. Speaking of apartments, River announced, their voice deliberately lighter, trying to shift the emotional weight before it crushed everyone. I found a place. 3-bedroom loft in that converted warehouse complex on Bellamy Street. Wait, the Bellamy Lofts? Kira's eyebrow arched, genuine surprise coloring her voice. I've been looking at those. No shit? River's grin widened. Which floor? 3rd. The corner unit with the wraparound windows. We're on the 2nd floor. River's hand found Phoenix's, their fingers intertwining with practiced ease. Figured it was time. Phoenix has been crashing with you guys long enough. Time we built something that's ours. You're kicking me out? Phoenix's mock outrage dissolved into genuine excitement. Wait, you actually got approved? Signed the lease yesterday. Move-in date is the 15th. Holy shit, River. Kira leaned closer to me, her voice low. I've been avoiding telling you about the Bellamy place. Didn't want to stress you while you were healing. But those stairs at home, they're killing you. And they're only going to get worse. I know, I admitted. The walk up to our bedroom had become Everest, each step a negotiation with my reconstructed body. When? Our application's pending. Should hear back next week. If it works out, we'd be neighbors with Phoenix and River sometimes in January of next year. The implications settled over me like a warm blanket. Phoenix finally getting their own space with River, building a life beyond our spare room. Kira and I moving somewhere I could actually navigate without assistance, the 4 of us close enough to maintain our tight orbit while allowing for necessary growth. That's... fuck. Just good. I managed. The bar erupted in the kind of chaos that only family can generate. Miguel whooping, Della demanding decorating rights, Ezra already planning housewarming logistics. Even Jian Chen managed a tremulous smile, seeing her child building something beautiful from the rubble of their childhood. From the speakers, Journey's Stone in Love painted the moment in cosmic irony, wishing to freeze this instant of pure possibility before reality's weight returned. Buildings have elevators, I assume? I asked. 2 of them, Kira confirmed, plus the units are single level. No stairs inside. So we'd be the old people who can't handle stairs anymore. We'd be the smart people who stop pretending we're 20, Kira corrected. Your body nearly died, Wendy. It doesn't owe you athletic prowess. Mary's voice drifted from the kitchen area, quiet but clear. Sometimes accepting limitation is the only way to find new freedom. She emerged with Della, both carrying plates of the freshly made mac and cheese. Plus, those lofts have character. Better than character. They have accessibility. The bar fell into the rhythm of eating and conversation, the mac and cheese becoming a focal point of appreciation. Della had nailed it, the roux-based sauce coating every pasta tube with creamy perfection. You were right about the blonde roux, Della admitted to Mary. Makes it smoother. Told you, Mary said simply, settling into her usual quiet corner with her wine. He really doesn't remember? Ezra asked Renee, their voice small, pulling the conversation back to harder territory. Not a fucking thing. It's like someone took an eraser to that entire day. Doctor said the head trauma. Renee gestured vaguely. Sometimes the brain protects itself by deleting what it can't process. Or maybe he's faking. Either way, I'm watching him. You think he's dangerous? Miguel's protective instincts were already calculating distances, exit strategies. I think he's empty, Renee said flatly, which might be more dangerous than angry. Empty people fill themselves with whatever's nearby. Question is what he's gonna reach for. The mother will decide, I said quietly, my inner druid speaking through the scotch and exhaustion. He's been unmade. Whether he remakes himself as something better or something worse, that's his geas now. His sacred obligation. That's some mystical bullshit, Della called from the kitchen. Maybe, I agreed, but it's the only thing that makes sense to me. He tried to kill me for telling truth about our childhood. Now that truth is just words on pages he doesn't connect to memory. Maybe that's the only way he could have ever heard it. The bar fell quiet except for Leopard's hysteria, filling the space with its particular brand of existential medication. The guitar solo hit like morphine and mourning, with notes bending reality into something bearable. Gizmo and I used to sing this in the car, I said suddenly, the memory ambushing me with its sweetness. I think she loved Elliot's voice. She's doing well, Mary offered quietly from her corner. School's good. She's happy. River stood suddenly, glass raised. I know this isn't a special occasion, but fuck it. I want to say something. Christ, are you fucking proposing again? Miguel laughed. Already did that, asshole. River gestured to Phoenix's ruby ring. No, I want to say, this place. You people. You saved me before I knew I needed saving. Every shift at the hospital, dealing with patients who won't use my pronouns, doctors who think gender is binary, families who blame me for their loved one's condition. I come here and remember that reality is what we make it. And we're making something fucking beautiful. You get no argument from me. I come here to drink my sorrows away. I don't know about the rest of you, I called out, heartily taking a swallow. The bar erupted in affirmation, glasses raised, voices overlapping, the kind of chaotic love that only survivors recognize as grace. I raised my scotch, feeling the weight of it, the ceremony. To starting again, I added, every fucking day we start again. The sound of glass on glass, liquid sloshing, ice clinking. Percussion for this moment of collective defiance against every force that tried to erase us. Jinchen's hand found Phoenix's, tentative and terrified. Phoenix didn't pull away. I am sorry, Jinchen whispered. For everything. For all the year I do nothing. I know, Phoenix said simply. And I'm trying to forgive. It's hard, but I'm trying. That's all we can do, I said, my damaged voice carrying across the bar. Try. Fail. Try again. Fuck up. Forgive. Survive. It's not pretty, but it's ours. The rest of the evening blurred together in the best way. Food passed around, stories exchanged, music cycling through the decades of queer resistance and joy. Somewhere between Genesis's land of confusion and Heart's barracuda, I felt something loosen in my chest. Not healing exactly, but acceptance. This was my life now, fractured and strange, held together with scar tissue and stubbornness, populated by people who chose each other when the world refused us. Renee's phone buzzed. She checked it, frowned, then looked at me. John's asking if he can come here. Says he wants to see where it happened. Wants to understand. The bar went silent, every eye turning to me. The question hung in air thick with tobacco ghosts and possibility. Not yet, I said finally. Maybe not ever. This is sanctuary. It stays sanctuary. He wants understanding, he can find it elsewhere. I'll tell him, Renee said, already typing. Tell him. I paused, choosing words carefully. Tell him when he figures out who he wants to be, without our mother's poison in his head, then we'll talk. But not before. Neutral ground. That's how it's gotta be. The old John tried to kill me. The new John is a stranger. And I don't think I can do that meeting alone. Harsh, Ezra said. But I will stand with you, Mom. I am not afraid of him. Survival, I corrected. There's a difference. From somewhere near the bar, Mary's voice drifted through the conversation. You can't pour from an empty cup. Protecting your space isn't harsh. It's necessary. The simple wisdom settled over the group, another thread in the evening's tapestry of collective understanding. As the night deepened, people started drifting out. Work shifts awaiting, real lives calling. Phoenix walked Jian Chen to her car, River following close behind like a protective shadow. The conversation had turned to logistics. Moving dates, furniture coordination, the mundane details that made new lives tangible. Miguel was cleaning glasses, Della restocking the kitchen for tomorrow. The bar, in its late-night emptiness, felt like a church after services, sacred space returning to itself. From the speakers, Stevie Ray Vaughan's Riviera Paradise painted the air in blues progression, notes falling like rain on sun-baked ground. You did good tonight, Mom, Miguel said, setting a glass of water in front of me. Being here, letting people see you healing. That matters. Doesn't feel like much. Survival never does, Della called from the kitchen. It's only in retrospect that breathing becomes revolutionary. I stood slowly, every joint protesting, every bone remembering its breaking. The ankle monitor caught on my jeans, reminding me of my tether. But looking around this space, these crimson walls and clean surfaces, this sanctuary built from refusing to disappear, I felt something close to gratitude. Same time tomorrow? Miguel asked. If my body allows it, I wheezed. But yeah, same time tomorrow. Outside, the autumn air bit with winter's promise. Kira guided me to the car, patient with my glacial pace. As we drove away, I watched the bar's entrance in the side mirror, that narrow alley door with its faded rainbow, its sharpied declaration of family. John didn't remember, but I did. Would always remember. That's the burden and blessing of survival, carrying the weight of what others forgot, what others couldn't face, what others tried to kill us for speaking aloud, but carrying it meant living. And living meant returning, day after day, to spaces we'd reclaimed from violence. The mother didn't forgive, I'd always known. She transformed, turned death to compost, winter to spring, violence to void. What grew from that void remained to be seen. But tonight, surrounded by chosen family in reclaimed sanctuary, planning moves to accessible apartments where stairs couldn't defeat me, I felt the first stirrings of something green pushing through scorched earth. Maybe that was enough. Maybe it had to be. No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man. Heraclitus, the ancient Greek philosopher, understood transformation's fundamental truth. Change is the only constant, and identity is a river, not a stone. Wendy returns to her sanctuary transformed by violence, while her brother John exists as someone new, memories erased by trauma's mercy or curse. Both step into the same space, but neither the space nor they remain unchanged. The bar, once witness to attempted murder, now witnesses resurrection. Phoenix's mother, Jian Chen, steps into her own river of transformation, leaving decades of abuse to build new identity from scorched earth. River and Phoenix plan their loft, creating space for futures unwritten, and Wendy and Kira follow suit, acknowledging that bodies change, that stairs become mountains, that accepting limitation opens doors to different freedoms. Each person carries different water than they did yesterday, molecules of trauma and healing mixed in currents that never still. The river flows on, indifferent to our naming of it, while we navigate its depths, pretending we know where the current leads. Survival is not returning to who we were, but accepting who we've become, strangers to our former selves, familiar only in our continuing journey through waters that never rest.